Well, good morning, everyone. I always start a half hour before I'm supposed to, it seems like. So I decided to come downtown. I thought there was a certain event. My hat's all messed up. Let me see here. Anyway, I thought there was a certain event going on. There is something going on right now, which I'll turn the camera around in a few minutes. But I know tomorrow in this same place, there's going to be what's known as Arts in the Park. And they'll have music playing and local vendors selling their what they make, and there's a lot of kind of crazy people here at the same time. There's not a lot of people. There's one guy who was here a while ago. He was, I don't know, yelling about something. I don't know what he was yelling about, and making a spectacle of himself. But then there's another guy off to the left of me who is sitting there yelling something. I don't know what he's saying, and I'm just kind of ignoring him. But yeah, so I'm gonna turn the camera around and you can see what's going on. That's what's going on right there. So today, every Saturday, they have what they call the farmer's market, but people sell other things here other than what they grow. So there's a, if I can point it out here, if I could see it. I keep getting all these notifications keep dropping down. So yeah, we're gonna walk around here in a few minutes and check out what's going on. But anyway, so yeah, let's go walk around and check out the scene. Of course, you got your local riffraff that comes down here all the time. That's probably high on something, that's yakking away. And yeah. So if this event doesn't happen, it says it was supposed to be today, but it looks like it's an online thing for now. But there is a concert coming up August 13th. I'm assuming down here in this park. And I don't know if I'll go to it or not. So anyway, let's go walk around, check out the scene. It is a very bright sunny day. Some people are selling plants and a little bit of art stuff here and there. There are some vendors selling their food that they grow. But this happens every Saturday. I don't know what time it starts, but it's probably 8 o'clock this morning. Maybe they're here. But yeah, I thought there was another event coming. And then here's my my friend's booth right here. Say hi, guys. You're live on YouTube. Yeah, that was pretty cool. But we'll walk down here, and there's all kinds of stuff going on. But we'll walk around downtown Decatur for those who have not seen downtown Decatur yet. And so anyway, this building across the street here, this is our library over here. And it used to be our Sears, but I don't know what it was before it was Sears, but Sears was here for a long time, and then they moved out, went to the mall, and of course, you know, everybody, or Sears has pretty much closed down everywhere. So yeah, that is our public library now, and they used to be down the street here. And this is Central Park is what this is, and this is our transfer house. Let me pan up a little better. So this is our staple of Decatur, the transfer house. This used to sit in the middle of Main Street and Main Street, and they decided, instead of tearing it down and getting rid of it forever, they want to preserve it and brought it over here to Central Park, and this is where it will stay. Now, they used to hold bands, as you can see a picture there. They would put people up there and they would play music, but now they just do that at certain events. And yeah, it seems like they've changed all the photos around here, because beforehand it was just photos of different years of Decatur. So now they've changed the photos, and as you can see, 1895. Let me pan up here. I think that's when this building was built, in 1895. When we used to have trolleys that ran in this town. But as you can see, there's now different pictures of these folks at different places, and flowers, and then this here fountain, this has changed about 3 times that I know of. So, and then here we got a little thing to show you right here where they're moving it from downtown to this spot. And right there is where it used to sit. And you'd come down here and you'd transfer from bus to bus. And they used to have trolleys that ran through here. And here's a picture from 1945. So, yeah. But they no longer wanted to use it, so they brought it down here to Central Park. But this fountain has been changed several times, and when they put this one in here, somebody had threw soap in there because they didn't want the fountain to change. So they were pissed off and they threw soap in there. And then this all used to be concrete, and they tore it out and made it grass and took the amphitheater out that used to sit back there and put these things in. And so they still have bands that come over here once in a while and play. And but now every Saturday they have the farmers market come down here in the summertime. It's been more of a little bit of farmers market with crafts being sold. This is a recent new store that came to Decatur. I've not been in there yet. And we'll come down here to Merchant Street, where they got quite a bit of interesting shops. Several high-end restaurants are down here. I have not eaten in the gin mill yet, but I've looked at their prices, and some of their stuff's pretty expensive and some of it's reasonable. And on the other end is Coney McCain's, which I have eaten in there, and they have pretty good food. Now they used to, when you walked in the door, they would clap when you walked in the door, thanking you for showing up to their business. But I heard recently they don't do that anymore, so I don't know why they would have stopped. But this is Merchant Street right here. There's a sign right up there, it says Merchant Street. This is kind of the old part of Decatur. And yeah, see, this is what I thought was going on today, but it's something that's online right now. But August 13th, I think they're actually going to have some people come and actually play, and so on and so forth. So, and then we have the Oakwood Block Festival, and I think that's once a month or something like that. And they block off a section of Oakland Avenue and put a stage up and have some vendors and have some bands play. So I've not gone to it in a few years, and I keep forgetting about it. So they start at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and let's see, the next one will be, of course, August 20th. And then we got the Taproot restaurant there. Let me pan this up. And then Goodfellas, where they sell, as you know, your cigar lounge and cigars and tobacco and pipes and so on and so forth. Open. A lot of things got killed from COVID. I don't come down here enough to. And then we got the Dell's Popcorn, and they have really good the little trinkets. And a few clothing stores in here, and a restaurant. And then we're coming up to a place called Giggles, and they have all kinds of neat little trinkets that she sells in there, and cards and interesting things that you haven't never seen before. Apparently she's got a sale going on. But I came on a little earlier, half hour earlier than I said I was going to. And I don't know if this is broadcasting to Facebook. It says that I'm logged into that, but I'm not sure. So, and then here's what our back alleys look like right there. So it's nothing but dumpsters and the back doors to the businesses. So it's not like Japan where they got businesses off and something like that. But a lot has pretty much changed here in downtown Decatur. Things have gotten closed down or knocked down or whatever. And then this here is the Decatur Area Arts Council Center, and they have, Milliken has their an art thing here, and I think they do practice for their theater. And or no, the Civic Center does their practice for the theater here, the Theater 7. Of course, Rob's Shoes have been here a long time. I'm really surprised that COVID hasn't killed them off, but they're still in business that I know of. They sell Birkenstocks in there. And then we're kind of getting back around to where we started. Now this used to be, this is a new building, but it's been here I think around 20 years. And there used to be, of course, another building that sat here and they tore it down. And I think it was Carson's Perry Scott that used to sit here. And then they built this, and there was a bunch of little shops in there. And now there's a big bank in here. There might be one shop in here, but it's mainly a bank. And I think it's Hickory Point Bank and Trust is who I think it is. So it's pretty bright out here, and of course this big building here, that's the tallest building in Decatur, and that was the Citizens Building. I don't know what they're calling it today. And there used to be a great big C for Citizens that sat at the very top. And it would do certain type of lighting on the sign, and it was kind of like a weather thing. So if you knew what this what it all meant, then you knew what the weather was going to be, depending on what it was flashing. It was kind of neat, I guess. Now this land over here, there used to be, this all used to be like a walking shopping area. And you know, of course, no cars allowed in here. There used to be buildings all lined up along here. And this building that sat on the corner, this was Kay's Merchandise that sat here. And then of course buildings all along this way, and they tore all these old buildings down and built this little, I guess you would call it a park, and then put a statue in down there to commemorate the black soldiers during the Civil War that were from Macon County. And then this building is brand new as well, and there used to be, of course, older buildings all lined up here. The first building, or first shop on the corner, that was a, I think it was a jewelry store, and then behind that was a barber shop. And then next to that was another section of Kay's Merchandise, and then further on down. But I think down at the very end of these buildings, it might have been down more on that side of it, or it could have been over here. I can't remember, it's so long. It used to be a record store, and of course, as you can see, it's all gone and new put up. So this is owned by, I think, ADM, and of course ADM owns everything. Boy, I tell you what, my phone did dim down. I can't see the thing whatsoever. So if you come on, welcome, and enjoy the show. We're gonna walk around downtown for a little bit. Hopefully we won't get some nutcase that comes out to me and tries to take my phone and gimbal away, or cause a scene in front of my camera. And then of course you have the Avon Theater, which has the biggest screen in Decatur, even compared to the other two theaters that are in town. And this is one of the oldest theaters in Decatur. And then they bought a section of it next to it and put two theaters in there, which actually the screens are smaller than the original screen in there. And as you can see, they're having DC leagues of Super Pets going on, and whatever else that's playing in there. Nope, and Mrs. Somebody Goes to Paris. Well, good morning, Mambo. Yeah, I came on, let's see, about a half hour ago. I was supposed to be on at 10, but I decided to come on a half hour early. And we'll go back over to Central Park and see the farmer's market one more time, which really isn't much of a farmer's market because not too many people are selling what they grow. So some of it is baked goods, some of it's plants, some of it's stuff they made. And then tomorrow in that same spot, they're going to be having Arts in the Park, which it will be full of vendors of people from around the community selling whatever they make, and they'll have music playing and so on and so forth. But what I came down here originally was there was supposed to be what I thought was supposed to be punk rock in the park. So I got to looking at it, some kind of online thing. Looked like they're doing some kind of a contest. Stop in the shade here. So I was late this morning, busy getting breakfast. The grandson's heavy. Yeah, well, that's okay. You can watch the replay because I kind of walked through there and then start walking downtown. As you can see, people are having sales today, putting stuff on their sidewalks and trying to get rid of things before the autumn comes. But we'll walk down this way and check it out. And my screen, of course, did dim down. I can barely see it. And that's funny, because usually when you come outside with one of these iPhone 13s, your screen gets really bright. But I guess once it's in the sun for a little bit, it dims down. So it's kind of odd. I hope they fix that in 14. Now they're trying to say don't put a case around your iPhone because it's pretty well protected on its own, but you know, people aren't going to listen to that, so they're still going to put cases around them. Now we're in the shade. Wow, they put a garage door in here. Okay, well, this corner place now a restaurant, beer. It's a Decatur Brew Works, so they were down the street in a smaller place, and they brew their own beer, and looks like they got cups up there you can purchase and take home, or mugs I should say. But I've never been in here. I think they serve food now, and got a lot of seating, and of course they have, I don't know if you can see it, but they have old kegs sitting in the windows, and here's a wooden one right here. So I wonder how old these things are. That's pretty cool. But just like any other town, there's some nut jobs walking around yelling out stuff and so on and so forth. So this first business here used to be, when I was in school, it was called Make a Music, and of course they sold musical instruments. And now it's another restaurant. There was a restaurant in there, a high-end restaurant. I guess they were really expensive, and I don't know if COVID killed them or what, but now there's a new place in there. And then of course there's a Thai place next door. I've not been in there either, so I don't really come downtown and eat much, so one of these days I will. Yeah, it's kind of quiet. I think I'll just sit across, and I think I'll just walk down this way. There's too many people down there on the other side, and I'll just we'll just look across the street. And then of course you got Soul Bistro, but I don't know if they're still open or not. You used to not be able to park on this street, and they decided to go ahead and put parking in and lowered the speed limit to, I think, 25, something like that. People are going into this place. called a Snapshot. Never heard of that place before. So there's food going on. It's getting close to, well, it's still breakfast, so people are out enjoying breakfast, and I can smell it cooking. But yeah, and in the Decanter, they sell wine and spirits. Well, they used to. They're not in there anymore, it looks like. And I wonder if COVID kind of killed them as well. In a Decatur downtown cafe. I've eaten in there a long time ago. It's been a long time since I've eaten in there. And of course, like I said, Coney McCain's, they had moved over to this corner building. This used to be a sub shop, and they moved out, and Coney's bought it and expanded their restaurant over. And in the summertime, you can go outside and eat. They don't open up until 11 o'clock. But they were quite interesting when they would open up, or when you walk in there, because they would clap to thank you for showing up. And of course, this is Merchant Street, and it's actually going the opposite direction. You used to have to come the way it's backing out. That car's backing out, but they changed the direction of it, and it's always been one way. So of course, the Brass Horn, they got women's side now, because the Brass Horn was a men's store, and they decided to put in a women's section to it. And of course, the Gin Mill is a new restaurant, kind of expensive, but, and then of course they're seating on the outside. Let me see if I can see if I'm panning this right. And then of course they don't open until 11 o'clock. So, and a lot of these places may just be opening up, and they're bringing their stuff outside, trying to get rid of the seasonal clothing before fall comes. I hate cold weather, so this warm weather's, I like warm weather. I don't like being in humid weather, but I like warm weather. So yeah, there used to be a women's clothing store in here, and then they closed down. It was just so high end for Decatur, people couldn't afford it. And well, most of the really rich people moved out anyway. So, and yeah, so we're gonna come down here to Central Park again, and we'll cross over here. It's not real hot out right now. It's kind of a pretty nice temp out. A little bit of a breeze. I'm sure it will probably heat up. Now this all used to be concrete, and then they decided to grass it. And that fountain's new. That's been changed. That's probably about the third fountain that they put in this park. And I'm glad they kept the statue I'm standing next to sitting here. So, you know, so this is what, there used to be a lot more people here sold their stuff, and not too many people show up like they used to. I know the community college sometimes has a thing going on because they grow food out there, and we have not gone to it for several years. And then of course we've got one person selling some plants, and a lot of it's baked goods. There's a few people selling stuff they've grown, or they probably bought it and they're selling it again. So let's go for another walk. There's some pretty flowers for you right there. They hang these out every summer, and when we used to have the Decatur celebration, the first weekend of August, this would just be packed full of vendors and people. And it's a 3-day event, and they would shut down several streets downtown. And within that 3 days, 300,000 people would show up to this event. And then that mural right there, they painted that during that celebration, but they ruined it by the last year or so of making people pay, because it was a free thing and they were losing money and they knew it, so they decided to rope it off and make people pay to come in. And it made a lot of people mad. And of course, some people were like, they were glad because it got rid of the riffraff. But it was something that people were complaining. They wanted something to do in Decatur, so they brought this about back in the 80s. And it was here for a long time, and COVID kind of killed it, and they just couldn't raise the money to keep it going, so now it's been called off for good. That's pretty sad. But this street here is a one-way street, and it's changed directions as well, because it used to be in the opposite direction that you see these cars parked. There's a shop down here. It's owned by a person that I know, and she sells a lot of people's crafts throughout the community in her facility here. And as you can see right there, yeah, see, I thought this is what we're going to come to today, but it's not today, and it's not until August 13th. But event held on Park Street, not in Central Park. Okay, so they're not going to be on that stage back there. Apparently they're going to be somewhere else. Punk on Park. So I guess I'd have to find Park Street. I thought Park Street was down there by Fairview Park. So I may be live again. So and of course, this is the post office. This has been here for a very long time. One of those buildings that if a nuclear bomb hit, that's probably the only thing that'd be standing, other than the windows being blown out. But of course, the Civic Center's way down there. That used to be Decatur High School, and they tore it down and built the Civic Center, and then built that school in a different place. And of course, a statue there is a statue of Stephen Decatur, whom was named after this town. So, or the town was named after him. Excuse me. And of course, there's murals that got painted throughout the town. And there used to be a parking garage here, but it was crumbling, and it took them a long time to get it to come down. There was permits that they had to come up with. I think there was asbestos that had to be removed, and so on and so forth. So, and then they finally got it taken care of. And as you can see, it was attached to this building, and then they haven't even fixed the side of the building yet. But it's been down for several years, so I'm really surprised that they just left that like that. Park Street. I'm trying to think of where Park Street is. I don't think Park Street downtown. I think it's more by Millikan University and so on and so forth. So I'm going to walk down here to my truck and stop this live stream and see if I can see if that's going on, and If it is, then I'll start my live stream back up again and film that. Anyway, let me turn this around. Oop. There he is. All right, folks, I'm gonna let you go here. I'm gonna go see if I can't go find this, because I thought it was in Central Park, but apparently it's not. And if I find it, I'll be back. Thank you all for coming.